Welcome back to Philosophy of the Barber.
Hello, hello.
Don't forget, a friendly reminder, like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to follow us on things and get our audience growing if you like our conversations.
Yeah.
This week's topic of conversation is tipping. Now, we touched on it in a previous episode a bit, but we'll go in a little bit deeper because I've had some things that have reignited my irritation on the subject.
Yes. Tell me more.
So I recently booked a service with somebody, not a hair service, but a service, and I typically am serviced by the owner of the establishment. And when I got my confirmation email, it had a note from the owner at the bottom that I assume goes to all the confirmation emails of anybody that books services with this establishment, whether it's with the owner or not. The owner's note was basically like reminding people that gratuity is not included in the service price and that they recommend, planning that to be separate.
Yep.
And specifically stating that especially when you're booking packages of services, that they're discounted 20 to 25% already, and it left a bad taste in my mouth.
Seems very forceful.
It's very like expectant.
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking to me about gratuity as though it's required? Because if it were required, you would work that into your price.
Correct.
And so that makes me not want to do business with them.
Yeah.
Because those are the kind of things that I really don't like. I consider that to be borderline, like that's an ethics issue. It's like, do you understand the root word of gratuity? Gratitude. If they are grateful that you went above and beyond their expectation of the service, that's how they show their gratitude. But that is an option, not a requirement.
Correct.
And so taking that for granted as a business owner is like, I'm sorry, are you factoring in tips into your budget? Because that's a poor business decision.
Correct. Yes.
And, you're the one who determines how much of a discount people get when they buy packages from you. So if that's a problem that you're, like,
trying
reminding
to make up
people,
for?
You're trying to make up for with gratuity, okay, you're already making a bad business decision there.
Yeah.
Like, if you're discounting your stuff too much, that you're dependent on gratuity, don't do that.
No, tips are very much like not expected. Very grateful always, but they're not a requirement anywhere.
No.
Like you don't have to leave one. It's nice that you do, but like I agree with the bad taste that it leaves.
Well, and it's a totally different situation, especially here in the States where we have employee levels, pay scales of servers that get paid a super low hourly wage because they factor tips into their... I don't agree with that in the first place.
No, God, no.
At all. I think people should be paid a living wage, period.
Yes.
And therefore, there should not be a guilt associated if you receive poor service to still pay your server a tip because it's their hourly wage.
Yeah. Because I'll do that.
Yeah.
You're still getting... In the service industry especially, you're still getting a tip regardless.
Yes.
I mean, I actually don't think I've ever not tipped. I didn't realize that in the world of tattooing, you tip your tattoo artist. When I first started getting tattoos, I didn't put two and two together like that. And because they're so expensive, I'm like, oh, they're good. Like, this is fine. They're already getting hundreds of dollars from me. Why would I tip? And then I realized, I was like, wait, this is still service industry, customer service. This is still them doing something for me, and I should show my appreciation and realize that I should do that better.
See, I've never been part of that world.
Yes.
I view that very much the same way I view our profession, which is if you are charging like a solid rate and you're in control of your rate, that should never be expected.
Oh, and again, still it wasn't, but I just didn't ever... That was the only circumstance that I didn't, is because I just didn't think about it. But like even when I've gotten bad service at a restaurant, like it you feel that obligation in certain areas like that.
I only feel the obligation if I know that the profession itself, the pay scale,
Correct. Yeah,
is
yeah.
dependent on that.
Yeah.
That's the only time if I receive crap service that I'm still going to tip you because, like, you still need your hourly wage.
Yeah. Like
I will tip you minimal.
yeah.
Like, you will get 15%. Usually I'm an average, like, Joe 20% girl. But, yeah, you'll get something, but you're not going to get a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
But it really bothers me that, especially post-COVID, tipping stuff has gotten absolutely outrageous. Everyone wants a tip. Everyone expects a tip.
Yeah.
For everything. I'm sorry. If you are working behind a counter... Now, I've recently learned that there's some industries that you can hire people as servers, even though they check people out behind a counter.
Interesting.
There's been some drama online with some, like,
Yeah.
businesses that I follow that, like, have been called out for that.
Oh.
And I guess that's an industry standard that's, like, a normal practice.
Okay, yeah.
But the average customer doesn't know that. So, like, I'm not a fan of a tip jar being everywhere. I mean, if I'm paying cash, it's convenient to put change in.
Yeah.
But for everybody to have, like, a tip screen, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we have a historic background of people wanting to tip barbers and hairstylists. So I more often than not have encountered people being irritated when I don't give them a tip screen. So to avoid that irritation, it's available, but it's by no means ever expected.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like now you find yourself in situations that are the opposite, where everybody's shoving a tip screen in your face and expecting it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even at, like, when I went to a concert last summer, like, at the merch table for the card reader and stuff, that there's an automatic tip thing that comes up.
Yeah.
To tip the t-shirt sellers.
I don't like that. That's messed up.
I know. And in reality, like, most people are it's just, it becomes an automatic thing. You know what I mean? Like, most people are just, like, going through the motions at a concert in line, trying to buy a t-shirt. They're trying to get out of the line. They're trying to do all these things. So they see these come up and they're like, oh, I guess tip? Question mark? Like, sure.
I'm so close to, like, part of me really wants to treat it the way that I treat the screen at a large store when you check out that asks you if you want to donate something.
Oh, yeah.
I already know that company has already donated that money, so it's a hard pass for me.
Yeah.
Part of me really wants to do that when it comes to tip screens that are in situations that are not warranted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, what did you do for me? How did you, like, earn my gratitude?
I didn't learn about the donation thing until recently. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
I thought my money was going to the dogs at the shelter.
Nope.
No. Just going back in their pockets. Mm-hmm. I always wondered how that worked.
Yeah, because it's not like you get a receipt for that donation.
Yeah.
I mean, it would take a lot of them throughout the year to,
Make it worth something.
yeah, make it worth your time to put that on your taxes. But even then, it's the company that gets that entire write-off. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, we already wrote that check, so any money that you're like, oh yeah, it just makes up for that, and it's like, cool, we made profit.
Yeah, I was a pretty avid donator to those screens. Because I was like, you know what? I'm not donating anywhere else. Like, what's $1 today with my groceries at Walmart? You know what I mean? It's easy. And then I learned that. I'm like, oh, you tricked me. My goodness was betrayed.
Mm-hmm. Never trust a large company to do anything but make themselves money. That you can trust them to do.
Yes, very fair. What are some other weird places that tip screens have been coming up? Do you tip at ice cream places?
If they have a funny enough jar.
Fair.
But otherwise, no, because I know what ice cream people make.
What do you mean?
Well, like seasonally here.
Oh.
Easy.
Yeah, okay.
Easy $16 to $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Easy. And these are high school kids.
Yeah.
They don't need to make a living wage. But that's good money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Local place here, Happy Cow Ice Cream, they have a cow that's a tip jar.
Yeah.
And this is the tipping for cows.
Yeah. That's right. Yes. I appreciate when places have the tip jars that's like a would you rather?
Oh,
Like,
that's a
kinda
marketing tactic.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, coffee shops.
Yep. Yep.
It's like, vote.
Yeah.
Vote with your money.
Yep. We want your opinion on something. Here, give it with dollar bills.
It's smart.
Oh, for sure.
It's a good strategy.
Have you ever been tipped something besides money that was interesting?
Yes.
Like what are some interesting things that you've been tipped aside from money?
Somebody made some homemade butter of a certain type.
Yes. Yes.
So that was interesting. It was a very long time ago.
That's solid.
I've had people bring me like meats.
Meats?
Yeah.
Like raw meats?
Yeah, the frozen, from the freezer. Like bear meat that they've, killed.
Oh, okay. Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Deer, sausage, various things.
Here's some of my trophy. You want them?
Yep. Or like, hey, I need to make room for this year's kill. Here you
Take
go.
this, please. I think my favorite is when little kids bring me tips, so to speak, or like little gifts. Like the bag of Dum-Dums
Yeah.
that I got brought from one of my little kiddos. Just a whole bag of lollipops that I'm going to in turn give to the little kiddos.
Exactly. That was their ploy.
I know.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, he's like, look, she'll have to give me these now.
Yeah.
Have you ever been gifted alcohol?
If I have, it was a really long time ago.
Mm.
And, I mean, most of my clients have learned pretty quickly that I don't drink. So it's pretty well lost on me.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's depending on, obviously, the barber, I feel like that's a really easy and good go-to for clients to gift their barbers.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Like,
I've seen, I've worked with barbers who have gotten those.
So that's why I was curious if you ever had, is because obviously I also don't drink, so most of my clients know that as well. But at my very first shop, that was like the gift around like the holidays, around all, to be fair, we also had like served whiskey there, had liquor locker, so it was a very alcohol driven atmosphere anyways.
My husband's worked the same way. Corporate is very much like that, I guess.
Yeah. And so they would always just get these bottles of liquor for the holidays, for just whatever. And I've always been grateful. I'm like, please don't ever anybody show up with that for me. Wouldn't know what to do with it. I'd have to give it to somebody else.
Well, and that's the thing is I would put it in a decanter and offer it to customers if they wanted it, but it's not really a thing. Like, of all the preferred beverages people have asked for, nobody's ever asked for any alcohol. Well, except for the Blue Moon.
The Blue Moon.
That's it. As far as stuff people have brought me, the Christmas Mickey decoration, that was a gift from a customer.
That was a gift?
Yeah. That's the only reason I had any Christmas decorations is because of that.
I love that. Your
Yeah.
speaker?
Yes, my speaker.
Yeah. It's a great gift, dude.
I get really awkward when people give me things.
I know. Oh, just so everyone knows, the speaker we're talking about is one of those Granddaddy Marshall speakers. So it's very nice. Very nice speaker. It's a good one.
Yes, it came with his own carrying case.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like that hardback case.
Yep.
I think probably my favorite little gift that I've gotten was one of my clients made me a 3D printed image of my logo with the Sasquatch that I have as my little mascot combined together in just this cool little plastic decor thing. And I just thought that was really, really cool.
It's very creative.
Yeah, because he had to be able to make that whole template and everything. He did that. That's not anywhere.
One of my customers' dads, because at one point or another, all of his sons came to the shop.
Yeah.
And even he did for a short time, but he made a wooden plank sign with the original Polish and Proper logo on it.
Oh, cool.
And it said "Welcome to Polish and Proper." So we never had a formal sign.
Yeah.
Just never needed to.
Yeah.
But that was super cool.
Some clients are so creative and nice.
Oh yeah.
And to think we don't even expect anything.
I think that's why we find them so nice, is because we don't expect anything.
I know.
So I definitely think a conversation, an ethical conversation should be had with clients, most especially in areas where you're going to be raising your price. And if that causes them pause or concern, which is not the majority of the time, because usually if you're raising your price at the correct time, everybody's not going to be all like, oh man, like that sucks, like I gotta, pay so much more. Most people are going to be like, okay, cool, because that means I can get in a little easier, hopefully.
Yeah.
And if somebody does have like a financial constraint, it's one of those things of like reminding them like, hey, if it's a problem, you don't have to tip me.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's cool. It's fine. Like, not an issue. Because like that's kind of how I gauge how much to raise my price is like the average tip that I get. Because it's like, you're already paying me this.
Yes. So just don't tip me.
Yeah.
Keep your budget the same. You don't have to adjust anything.
And I don't take offense. But that's a choice on my part. Like, people who have the mindset to expect tips, I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, I think it's very important that you give, which you did, your clients a fair warning before you raise your prices. Because I will say, I saw on Instagram the other day this page that I follow.
The effect of immediately?
Yes, they said that they were raising their prices, which again, we 100% respect that. That's not the issue. But they said the words effective immediately in the post, and I feel like that is just so inconsiderate.
Yes.
You didn't warn anybody. You didn't, and nobody got a heads up. The people that are booked with you the next week, they have no idea that that's now what's happening. I don't like that. I feel like all gears back to the communication of things, but put a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, and it's very like, I like to give at least 30 days because that is my average turnover for haircuts. And even then, make sure to honor the previous price for the ones that have already pre-booked.
Yes.
So it's like, hey, if it's already on the books by this date, you still get the old price. But the one after that, it starts a new one.
Yep.
And that way, no one's caught off guard, especially if it's my, like, every 6-week person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want anybody to feel like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah, exactly. Like, shocked by the information.
Yeah, like, unprepared.
Yeah.
And nobody likes to, find themselves caught unaware. And I think that's a matter of respect, like, to make sure nobody feels like they're in that situation.
Yeah.
Because that makes things awkward. Your goal as a service provider is to make people comfortable. And I think it's bad business if you are playing people's emotions.
Yeah.
Like, that becomes a little manipulative at that point. I'm not okay with that. Like, I'm not okay with that personally, let alone from a business.
Yeah, let alone professionally.
And I mean, from a case-by-case basis, like, it's obviously not something I'm advertising, but we cultivate these relationships with our clients, and, life happens sometimes. So there's been a time or two when somebody needed to not pay me until payday.
Yep.
Because I know them, I'm willing to extend them that courtesy.
Yep.
And they make sure to not overextend my generosity.
Yeah.
And there are some people that have overstepped, and I've had to, like, put them back in the, you need to make your own appointment and make sure you put a credit card in to book your appointment like everybody else sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, usually I'll book people manually in my book at the end of their appointment so that they get their next haircut in, good to go. But that doesn't have a no-show protection when it comes to a card. So sometimes it's like, all right, you get to book your next haircut because you no-showed me a couple times, or it's been, I'm starting to feel like you're taking advantage of me, so I need to put you back at arm's length. Sorry, you can't start this race over that line.
Have there been, like, has that been like a semi-common thing?
Not common.
Okay.
It's only happened with a few people, but I appreciate the people who graciously accept that adjustment and are like, got it. I'll book online for my next cut.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you. And eventually, like, if they continue on that, I'm sure they'll earn their way back to, me being cool, booking them manually again.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
You have to rebuild that trust.
Yeah. Like, it's not impossible. You're not, like, in permanent timeout. But some people don't take it that way.
Yeah. I had one that I was worried about, especially because he'd come in one time, pre-booked the next time, no showed that time. And then when he booked again, I was so hesitant because I'm like, you seem shady now because of how the first encounter went. It was just a little odd. But then when he came back in the second time, he wanted to pre-book again. And I was like, are you sure you want to do that? I was like, because you no-showed last time. And I was like, I want to make sure things are cleared that way. And he was like, there had been some unexpected things that occurred in his life. And luckily, he was very apologetic and accepting of my little bit of feedback. And he has not missed a single haircut now. And he's in here every other week.
Good. It's funny because before you even started, like, saying anything about the person, I knew exactly who you were talking about. But that's the thing, like, that communication needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, a price increase, whether it's, hey, these are the expectations I have of you as a customer.
Yep.
Like, all of those things are important to lay out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
And that way the discussion can occur if there's, stuff that they didn't bring up that they didn't think was appropriate, or, like, some things are a little bit on the personal end.
Mm-hmm.
But to allow that human element of understanding.
Yeah.
I don't know, what are some other professions that tipping, like, because I mean, society-wise, it's the whole, like, customary not to tip the owner, but the irony when it comes to barbers is that technically they're all owners.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's just their little rental chair or if it's like a shop situation, it kind of doesn't work anymore unless it's in a restaurant and for whatever reason the owner happens to be serving you.
Yeah. I don't understand. I'm not a part of that thing, the whole tip. I didn't even know that was a thing. People keep talking about that lately.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing to not tip the owner. I've never been in a situation where I've had to consider tipping an owner of anything besides a barber. So,
well, I can understand in a classic restaurant setting, it is not customary to tip the owner if they are serving you because they own the establishment. They're paying all of their employees an hourly wage. Therefore, they're making money.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not customary to tip the owners, because, like,
okay,
they're making money.
They're making plenty. Yeah.
Whereas in a, like, sole proprietorship situation where it's like, or self-employed situation, I should say, where it's like, all the money you're making is what you earn. Mm-hmm. It's different. But again, that's the only employment situation that has the hourly rate that is set lower for tipping to occur. So I can't think of any other time when that would be applied.
Yeah, I think it would just be like the restaurant would.
I think the older tipping housekeeping, but, like, that's so dependent on the business's policies.
Yeah.
And at least when it comes to staying at, like, a Disney resort, you have to, like, explicitly leave a note designating that was for your housekeeper. Otherwise, they're just going to think that you left stuff in your room.
Oh.
And they're not allowed to take stuff that you leave in the room.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
How about uncomfortable levels of tipping? Because that's subjective, so give me your opinion.
Considering it's not like I'm charging hundreds of dollars for services here, once you, like, tip 100% of the service, even for just a haircut, like, I'm a little, like, taken aback sometimes because that's a lot. You just paid for 2 haircuts. That's a big deal. I wouldn't want to pay for 2 haircuts because I so much look at how I look at my finances. So, like, when people are giving me that much extra, I'm like, are you sure you don't need this? I would need this. Like, are you sure? Like, the last weekend was my birthday, and first time customer, probably a one-off because he technically lives in another country. He lives in Asia. Tipped me $100 for a $15 beard groom service because it was my birthday. Super uncomfortable. I just met you, sir. It's a lot of money. I don't know how many percentages of that service that is, but a lot. Way over. So yeah, usually that.
Yeah, I have a customer that frequently tips 100% of the services that he gets.
Yeah, and those are not the cheap services.
What? And I already give him a discount because I already know he's going to do that.
You just sneakily never raise his prices.
But I more sneakily added stuff to his service at no charge. Mm-hmm. That way it's not like he sees that I'm doing it.
Yeah. He has no idea.
Yes.
This is just what comes with his stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, cool. Cool.
So it's all right, I feel a little bit better about this because I'm giving you more than like the service that you signed up for, but you're obviously making up for it. And again, not that I expected, but you, after
doing it
years,
for this long,
he's got a track record.
Yeah. We're just basing the expectation off of the history of his behavior.
I feel like one of the most uncomfortable things is when somebody asks you what they should tip. I've had that happen. I'm like, that is entirely up to you. Like, I am not the person to ask. That's like asking me what I think about your hair color. Like, I don't have an opinion about your hair color. I honestly don't. Like, I take you as you are when you walk in to see me. Whether or not you should cover up your gray, I just accept you for who you are and what you are. And I'm not trying to sleep with you, so I have no opinion on the matter. None has been formed.
None.
You're not going to pry it out of me. It does not exist.
I remember when I was like first starting out and received like my first big tip, I cried. One of my clients down at the Merrimack shop tipped me, I want to say it was for Christmas. He like gave me $100 bill in an envelope and like told me Merry Christmas. And I teared up. I was like, this is so effing sweet. I didn't know that those kinds of things existed. And then one of my coworkers joked and was like, girl, you better get used to it. And I'm like, I better not. This will always be a grateful shock to me. Thank you.
I can't say it's like tear-worthy, but few things are tear-worthy in my eyes.
Fair.
But yes, it's humbling.
Yeah.
Well, and I think specifically we live in an area where holiday tips like that are pretty common. Like New Englanders, for as rough around the edges as they are very generous, most especially during the holidays, to like everybody. If you are their trash person, you are gonna get a Christmas card and a gift card. You're gonna get a Dunkin' Donuts gift card at least.
Yep, at least.
And yeah, any service provider, they're like, oh, you changed my oil? Here you go, Bill. So it's nice that, especially because it's like right before everybody gets to be a crotchety, like frozen, ball of human.
Yeah.
So it's like let's get all the joy and positivity and Christmas cheer out.
Just imagine if they did start putting up tip screens at the oil change places.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, if there were tip screens, suddenly you would start being very critical and discerning.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, if I'm going to tip, you better have done this right. Because let's face it, especially when it comes to car services, so many things go wrong.
Which is wild considering how expensive it all is.
Well, how many tools I've found just chilling under the hood of my car.
What?
Because they forgot to take them.
They just left them there?
Yeah.
I've never even checked under the hood of my car for tools. You're telling me I have to now check underneath the hood of my car to make sure they didn't leave? That's wild. I did, walking through the cemetery the other day, found a pair of scissors on top of one of the tombstones.
Big ones, little ones?
Like craft, almost like big craft ones. They were cutting rope. They were like blocking off some of the roadways, and they left them like on a headstone right there by where they had put some rope up.
Whoopsie.
I have to start checking the hood of my car.
Under the hood.
Yeah, that too.
You're gonna have to open. Do you know how to open your hood?
Yes. I can do a couple low-level things to my car if necessary.
Change your windshield wipers, which you should probably do.
At least the driver's side. My tires.
Treat your windshield wipers like tires. 2 or none at all.
Oh, no, I know. And I'm going to get good ones. Ish ones. Not cheap ones. When I bought windshield wipers for my Focus, I was working at Family Dollar at the time.
I knew it.
I was working at Family Dollar at the time, and they had a great deal one week where I could buy 2 for $6. I was like, oh my God, they're perfect. They took me an hour and a half to put on. They were janky, needless to say.
I feel like the only thing that would be good for would be a state board exam for like a mock stray razor. That was our secret weapon for our practical.
Really?
Yeah, you take one of the changeable blade razors and you put a used windshield wiper blade because then it becomes a squeegee.
It is a squeegee.
And it just takes the lather right off of a mannequin face. Oh my God,
yeah.
It was great. Way better than a credit card.
What?
That's also another thing that you could do. You could like cut up an old credit card and you could slide it into there and have it be a mock razor blade.
What?
Not as good as a squeegee, but still effective. What did you use to...
We didn't have to have a mock razor blade. We just didn't have a blade in our razor and used it without anything in it.
It's not nearly as effective.
Well, I don't think a credit card is either.
It's better than not having anything.
I mean, fair. But yeah, no, nothing. That's why I'm like looking at you crazy. Like, why did you do these things? Like, were you bored? Is it because you forgot something?
Well, this is also back when you had to perform all 14 shave strokes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you had to give that mannequin a full facial shave. Not half.
Yeah, we only had to do half.
You only had to do the easy half, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, freehand, backhand, freehand, back, reverse freehand.
I literally don't even know them all still.
Still?
What? What? Still. Yeah.
Still.
Still. I don't still know them all.
That means you never did.
I did. Briefly. I forget.
That was, what, long enough to pass your written test?
Yeah, dude. What?
Like in your textbook?
And then it very much became like, look at the growth patterns on their face and just customize. So that's what I do. I have no idea what these steps are.
My goodness.
Yeah, you don't want to watch me shave. you of all people, do not. I get the job done.
Wait, why me of all people?
Oh, you mean the expert shaver? Yeah, you of all people. That's like your creme de la creme.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
But I'd never have claimed to be an expert.
I feel like with how often your shave men get shaved, you must be doing a good job, dude.
My shave men get shaved.
Yeah, dude. How often they're coming in here for you to shave their faces.
With how often I use so many big towels.
Yeah.
The problem with laundry.
See, and this is why I don't necessarily care if I get a lot of shaves or not. Because, like, I technically don't do them in the proper order anyways. I rarely use a backhand. Confessions of the barber.
There are instances where, like, I understand. Like, it's a thing. I'm not judging. Like, I got a friend of mine who loves shaves, and he'll freehand the whole freaking thing if you let him.
Yeah, dude. That's exactly what happens.
No, I do I'm freehand, backhand, cool, and reverse freehand, fine. In fact, I prefer swapping the shave strokes for my mustache area.
Interesting.
It's more because, like, all right, so number 2, right? 1, 2, backhand, right? Well, so I do my number 2 stroke so far that I take off the vast majority of the mustache with the backhand stroke.
Yeah.
So that by the time I get to the number 3 to get the mustache, it's just like right under the nostril. And that's it. So that ends up being backhand, where it should be freehand. And then the other one ends up being freehand because I do the same thing with number 7.
So then you just end up with Hitler.
Yeah, and I just do that freehand real easy.
Perfect.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I think I just made my face shaves easier. Thanks, Jiminy.
You're welcome. But yeah, for the most part, my regulars, I tailor it to their skincare needs and growth pattern.
Yeah, it was, well, like, because fresh out of school and taking the tests and stuff, one, you're not getting facial shaves super often. Like, that's just not, at least I wasn't. It wasn't a common thing, just running around dudes wanting their face shaved.
In school or out of school?
Freshly out of school. Like, it just wasn't, not a lot of there was lots of bearded dudes down at that shop.
Right, because, I mean, that's
a
Beards
bearded
were
dude.
in by the time you were there.
Yeah.
Beards were not in when I was in school.
Yeah. So didn't get a lot of like maintained experience. And then I remember how important it was to go like with and against the grain and those things. So I remember like my first few, there were such awkward grow patterns on like the under chin and neck area that my steps just went out the window, and I was like, I can't do that here. Like, that doesn't work. And it just continued to be that, and so the steps just gone with the wind. Whew. The only one I do for sure properly is this one, whatever number.
14?
Yep, that's the one. The last one. 1 and 14 are in there. Proper.
How do you do 11?
Which one's 11?
Chin.
Oh, yeah, 11's cool. We go sideways across 11.
Yeah.
11's still fine. Ooh, but these ones, the hardest.
You feel like you're sticking your straight razor up their nostril?
I feel like I'm going to cut their lip off.
I don't have customers that have, like, voluptuous lips at all.
I just had a mental image of, like, someone trying to get a face shape given, like, a duck lip.
If anything, I have the opposite problem where, like, a lot of New England guys don't have, like, lips.
Any lips.
Yeah, it's
Especially no
very
upper
thin.
lip.
Yeah.
A lot of their mustaches part in the middle, too.
I appreciate that, though. When they have a mustache, it makes it easier to trim.
Yeah.
No, this seems to be a twofer as far as topics, because I don't mind talking about tips and shaving.
Especially me getting tips on shaving. So funny.
I'm going to be so sad about the prospect of losing one of my weekly shaves.
Oh, I know. I should get him something camel related before he disappears.
You've never made that reference to him.
Correct.
He's completely oblivious to it.
Exactly. He doesn't need to know.
Any last words on tipping or shaving? You want any more tips on shaving?
No, I'm just gonna need to come really, really watch you shave one of these days.
No more complaints, gripes.
No. My grapes are grapes. Great.
All right, we will see y'all next week.
Have a good night.